Welcome again, everyone, to my channel. I have a question for you. Have you ever experienced that odd tug from a woman who claims to be your friend? You have a deeper sense, but the she hides as soon as you believe you saw. It conceals a grin, shifts the topic, or acts as like it's all in your head. That feeling confused is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's instinct. You're sensing vitality. She's making a lot of effort to bury. However, why would does a lady conceal emotions that she obviously feels? Stay with me, as we're going to be figuring out the 10 hidden clues she's falling in love with you, yet not wanting you to understand. Prior to beginning, tap that click the subscribe button. It's cost-free, and it helps more men like you at last. Recognize the true meaning of women when they are unable to express themselves. Here's what the majority of men don't get it. When a woman is interested in you, but with caution, she speaks through contradiction. Her reasoning and her emotions are fighting each other. You'll see her. Her words say no, but her body says yes. It's protection, not manipulation. You see, women are afraid of losing their emotional command. They worry that if you understand how, no matter how much they care, you'll give up. Thus, they act as though they are unaware and indifferent. However, her behavior will expose her each and every time. She recalls small details about you. Even you forget things that were spoken weeks ago. She finds your jokes funny, not because they're humorous, but since they arrived from you. She reflects your enthusiasm, unaware of it. Leaning in, she also does, when your arms are crossed, she gently modifies hers. These are her subconscious connecting with her primal cues with yours. Additionally, when she discusses listen attentively, other men she will talk about them, but without feeling behind it. It's a test. She's observing how you respond. Does she want to know? Does she influence you the same way you influence her? Because as soon as she detects her mask breaks with indifference, her gaze lingers, her tone, when she says your name, it softens. She will find justifications for being close to you without ever acknowledging it. You're feeling something that's not biased. The tension is created by unspoken allure and the anxiety of vulnerability. Here's the reality, the more she conceals it, the more deeply fallen already. Each time she attempts to appear aloof, shielding her emotions, she is unwilling to come clean, not quite yet, because she believed that the instant she does, all the power is yours. This is what most men are unaware of. When a woman begins to fall in love with you, her not only does behavior shift, it fractures. There are two variations of her immediately. Someone who desires to be nearer to you, and you'll also see one who is afraid. A lot. She's not playing, that's why. Games. The reason for this is genuine attraction. Makes her feel vulnerable. Suddenly, she's conscious of her deep concern for your viewpoint, your focus, and your acceptance, and she is afraid of that. Thus, she conceals behind seemingly insignificant actions, useless, but they're not. She makes fun of you frequently and mildly challenge your views, or uses caustic language regarding your personality type. What she's actually doing is a gauge of emotional security. She desires to see your reaction to emotional intensity. Can you maintain your grounding when does she hurl sparks? Are you able to manage her without recoiling or exerting excessive effort? Because she feels comfortable if you can bending closer. Observe her response when you take a small step back. When you, first, stop texting or appear distracted, she will notice if she is falling for you. Right away. Abruptly, she will start more, but in a subtle way. She could send a odd meme, leave a remark on your narrative, or inquire casually about your well-being. It's her technique for reconnecting without. She's admitting she misses you. That's the attraction paradox. She desires to shield her feelings, but not her pride won't allow her to leave. And make a payment. Pay attention to her eyes. They will inform you what she won't say. As you speak, she glances at you more intently than usual, simply sufficient to evoke feelings, followed by appearances quickly, acting as though it had no significance. Emotional camouflage is what that is. Her eyes, her pupils widen and soften, her physique bends in your direction, despite what she says. Remain impartial. Each and every biochemical signal screams curiosity despite her mental tries to refute it. One more unnoticed indication, she begins to reflect your values. She will recognize your patterns and repeat words you use or are interested in items that concern for. If you have a strong interest in fitness, she abruptly chooses to obtain going back to the gym. If you have a particular, she happened to start the band hearing them out. These are not conscious endeavors to foster emotional congruence. A. The way a lady naturally says, I see I want to see you, and you want to see me. Men who disregard these indicators frequently lose the opportunity to establish a closer connection. However, those who acknowledge those who remain composed, emotionally stable, and manly inspire a strong emotion within her. Since she is no longer merely concealing allure, she is concealing her attachment. This is something that very few men ever comprehend. When a lady falls in love with you, but concealing it, her feelings turn into a battleground. She is caught between fearing her and wanting to be with you personal susceptibility. Because of this, she may retreat as soon as things begin to feel actual. She can be kind, playful, and even flirtatious. The next time she's aloof or cold, leaving you to question, did you do something incorrectly? No. You simply approach the area of her too closely. She is afraid to appear. Women conceal their sentiments since falling in love makes them feel vulnerable the instant she's giving you emotional access. She trusts you, which is something strong. She challenges you because of this, frequently without recognizing it. She'll bring up another, not that she's interested, man, but to test your ability to remain calm. She will test you on little issues to determine whether you'll either hold your ground or give up under duress. Not every test is about manipulation. Emotional security. Is it possible for this man to manage the really me? Among the most displaying indications that she is collapsing but concealing, it's the way she responds to your quiet. If keep your distance, she wasn't interested, wouldn't be important. However, if she begins thinking too much when you're silent, if she tries to catch your attention or sends repeated texts, attention with lightheartedness or humor, her emotional defense is provocation, slipping a little. Silence reveals concealed attachment more quickly than any confession might. And take note of this, she starts telling personal tales, the sort that expose her weaknesses. Perhaps she discusses her early years, her fears, or a fantasy she's never told anybody else. When a female opens out, she's not acting emotionally out of boredom. Intimacy is being tested by her. Can I put my trust in this man with the pure form of who I am? You'll watch her energy shift around you as well. Her voice becomes softer when she's close, her pace decreases, and her body automatically converge with yours. Even in a busy she's listening to you room. She may minimize it and seem as though she's simply being cordial, but her apprehensive chuckles, her self-conscious gestures, the manner in which when you look at her, she fixes her hair, all of it reveals her inner feelings. In actuality, the hidden attraction is increased attraction. The more she, the more she suppresses it, the more it dominates her. Actions. If you can maintain your composure, anchored and quietly self-assured via everything, You don't pursue, you don't overanalyzing will reveal something. Change. Her guard drops, and she remains silent, lingers, and she will soon begin to act expressing what her lips still won't admit it. The majority of males get lost here. When a woman keeps her emotions to herself, she frequently acts contrary to what she feels. She will appear aloof in order to protect oneself, even if her only want is your proximity. Consequently, her actions can feel perplexed. I'm giggling at everything you say. The following, she's behaving uninterested, even contemptuous. You begin to believe she's not no longer interested. However, it's emotional overload. Her heart is beating faster than her head, and she is making an effort to slow it down. When a woman begins to care profoundly, she becomes extremely conscious of her appearance. You might notice her because of this feel awkward, bashful, or even too calm as you go into the room. It's not a performance, nervousness. She's attempting to keep in check feelings that are already raging wildly within her. She refuses to let you see how much she's impacted by you, since, after you do, she loses her feeling of security. For this reason, she would conceal herself with sarcasm or abrupt lack of interest. However, underneath that chili, you can sense the intensity on the surface. Observe how she acts in social situations. When she will fall in love with you, unwittingly place oneself in a position where she may be able to see you, perhaps within your cue. Out of view, she lets out a slightly louder laugh. When you're close by, her subtle vitality turns to face you, her gaze searching more often than she acknowledges. Yours, even when speaking with others, her. The focus strays. Every tiny response she cares more about you than she does. Wishes to acknowledge. One more potent symbol. She is aware of your emotional tendencies. She begins to forecast your emotions, completing your phrases, or observing information that nobody else notices. That isn't coincidental. It's an emotional commitment. She had been listening because of her energy now influences hers. She senses that she is withdrawn. She glows with confidence. She attempts emotional synchronization to repress but unable. This is the paradox. She keeps her emotions to herself, safeguard her self-esteem, but in doing so, she further exposes herself. You'll observe how she defends herself when you imply in jest that she likes you. She will refute it too rapidly and excessively. Vitality defensiveness is a giveaway. It's sentiment cloaked in apathy. The more she strives to appear unaffected, the more she is, in fact. The thing she's concealing isn't only allure, it's optimism. I hope you'll see without her having to take a chance. Denial. I'm hoping you'll take action without exposing her. Due to she secretly doesn't want to pursue, she desires to be selected. This is the section. Things most men fail to notice when she's concealing her feelings for you. Feelings begin to seep through the tiny fissures. You'll see glimmers of the reality she's attempting to conceal. Fast moments of concern, guardianship, even envy. They move so quickly that if you lack emotional intelligence, I miss them. However, those are priceless moments. They make everything clear. Observe her responses when a different woman walks into the image. Although she won't publicly compete, her energy will change in an instant. Her tone could become more acerbic, her physique more closed off language. She may behave or make fun of the other women. Apathetic, yet that's her emotional state defense mechanism deteriorating. What she's truly thinking is, does she have what I don't? Does he view her the way he sees me? That tinge of territorial vigor is not insecure, it's subconscious, indication that she's already feeling invested. One more covert signal, she turns into your silent ally. She will support you while you're having trouble. Gently increase your self-assurance. When you doubt yourself, stand up for yourself. Others provide criticism. That caring instinct is not arbitrary. That's how women show love before they feel secure, sufficient to utter it aloud. If she begins, considering your objectives as though they were her own triumphs, you've gone too far from being attracted to becoming attached. However, this is when things become tricky. She will still pretend she doesn't care. She will minimize her role, make a joke about your relationships, and despite distance herself following intimate moments. Why? Because she is afraid of being vulnerable. To fall in love with you is to give up. Command. Additionally, most women would prefer hide their emotions than risk being rejected after being honest. She may even say, I'm not interested in anything. Serious, but her behavior suggests otherwise. She sees how you're doing, retains every detail, and becomes defensive when you're hurting, and invests emotionally while acting as though they don't. She uses it to gauge your level of interest, extends below the surface. Allure. She wants to know whether you will be dependable, even when she's not simplifying it. Here's the reality. She is a member of her resistance. Allure. Women are frequently the most susceptible to men who can provide them a sense of security to quit acting. When you reply with calm certainty instead of, she feels confused or desperate. I got it. When you give her room, rather than pursuing her, she starts to, I sincerely miss you. Due to genuine desire doesn't require coercion. It makes clear itself in intent, in stillness, in the confronted with the reality that the majority of guys never hear. When a lady conceals her self-sentiments, not because she lacks them, desire love. She does it because she is afraid of what she will experience from love. She's fearful of losing her equilibrium, of providing care for someone who might not as far back. She therefore protects her heart behind distance, humor, and reason. However, the more intense her emotions get, the it gets more difficult to maintain that disguise. Even though she speaks calmly, her enthusiasm betrays her. Every look, every silence, each slight change in tone becomes a modest confession. When she's her need for control and falling in love with you gradually begins to fall apart, you will see her grow softer, more receptive, and more authentic. She may tell you things that keeps it to themselves. She will appear. She shares bits of her vulnerability with you simply to check to see if you can be gentle with them. That's the moment that makes all the difference. If she'll let you in, if you make her feel secure, nearer. However, if your response is haughty, she will shut down if she feels judged or needy. Entirely. You won't be able to reach her. Genuine feelings for all time. The rarest type. The only person who can sense her is man. Emotions without pushing them out, who doesn't push or chase, but instead builds the area where she wishes to approach. A man like that doesn't look for approval. Away from her focus, he is in his own worth. And it's just that which makes her descend considerably farther. Because when a woman recognizes the depth of your feelings, she becomes secure in her own. After a while, all of her acting begins to feel burdened. She will make a mistake. She will send a text. It was late at night when you initially arrived. She will divulge on an emotional level. She will pause after speaking, goodbye. She has made these silent disclosures. She will demonstrate rather than say, I like you. It in the way she handles you, her appearance when she believes you're not making payments. Pay attention. How she lets her guard down for just. When you make her laugh, that is, the decoding her is not the secret. It's to comprehend her. What attracts people isn't pursuing indicators. It is about emulating serene, self-assured energy. that makes her feel free from pressure to show emotion. Because when she eventually comes out of hiding, she won't share her feelings with you. Words, she will tell you quietly, with the way she unwinds around you and allows you to see her for who she really is. And keep this in mind when the time comes. You were never denied her affection. It was just awaiting your transformation into an individual who could manage